Hey guys, it's Caleb with White Metal Games here, and this is the first look video at our new studio, or as we're calling it, the showroom now. We've been working on it for a couple weeks now, so I think we finally have it to a place where we can actually show the showroom and show you how far along it's come. And if you remember on the last video, what you saw was basically 4 walls and the paint was applied, and we had the airbrush hood mounted, and that was about it really. We had just began to have plans for how we were going to move everything in and get it sorted, but now everything is in and everything is sorted, and even though there's plenty more to do, for the most part we are locked in, so we've got everything in place and everything is where it should be and things are workable, and I've been working on a few projects and I've been sort of tweaking it and it's been good. So I'm going to bring you into the showroom as though you were coming into the showroom, so I'm going to bring you up the steps, and so here's the first peek. So I'll just pan around. As you can see, it's a deep showroom, so there's a lot going on. It's very busy. So let's sort of take our time going through it. If you remember in the last room we had this entire middle area was kind of a game surface and kind of a game area where we could do big games. And that really isn't a thing anymore. Like really, I want to use this as a workspace, and I want to have my work here and my games elsewhere. So even though some of this stuff on the bench is getting sorted out, mostly this will be a workspace. So starting here on the left, and we'll do a lap, this is a showcase we got from a local game shop that unfortunately had to close down, and they were letting this go for a pretty penny, and I decided I wanted to pick it up. Originally I was going to try to put this into one of the local shops, but after much lack of success, I was unable to do so. So now it comfortably sits in our showroom until we find a better home for it. As you can see, it forms a nice place for some of the bigger models. Most of those are still a work in progress. And then the case itself is perfect for all of the models that we used to have on a shelf, and now we can put them here in a proper case. So it's a little hard for this camera to focus in here because it is dark. There's no natural light. But I think you can generally tell that we're just using it for show pieces. Now eventually all these pieces in here will be painted, or more aptly the pieces that are painted will then be put into armies that will be sold. So hopefully this is a temporary nesting place for these things, not a permanent nesting place. This is mostly supplies. Up top you can see lots of foam for projects we have down the road. We've been gathering this for a long time now. A lot of these supplies used to rest on the back wall, but now it's a lot more accessible. We've got them all cloistered together. A ton of this is terrain building supplies, but also generic supplies, casting supplies, flock, sand, trees, miscellaneous bits and ends, empty vessels, all sorts of different stuff. So as you can see, it's just row after row of that. Then we get into some of our more industrial supplies, stuff like, these bins contain things like plastic bottles, and it's hard to see in there, but if I bring it up, you might be able to see that it's actually cork bark. And we've got sand and lava rock and just everything that we could use for a bunch of different terrain projects. Of course, some spray paints. No shop is complete without spray paints. Now, we're trying to do away with our spray paints. We actually find these to be ineffectual in the work we're doing now. So we're actually trying to burn these out. We haven't bought spray paint in a while. Here's a couple of the projects that we have working on right now. This is a terrain project we're doing for a company called War Games Factory. We're going to be putting together some custom display trophies for them. This is an army that we just got back. This is a Chaos Space Marine counts as Blood Angels army that Justin, our co-host on War Council, just sent in. And that is up on the block right now. He wants us to move it because he's interested in moving on to other projects. So it is primed up and ready for paint, and if someone wanted to pick that up, they could commission us to finish painting it. Of course, more bins with more storage supplies. It just depends on what it is. This is some of our painting supplies, and we've got some shipping supplies. Speaking of shipping, we've got our giant shipping area over here, from plastic wrap up to our shipping peanuts thing. So this used to rest over in this area here, but I find it to be more conducive over here. We've got our records for our last couple years worth of sales and other documents that we don't need on a regular basis. Our library was moved. We're going to have to put all our books back. We haven't done that quite yet. Eventually these doors will be replaced with actual nice French doors, but for the time being this wall serves it perfectly well. It's just holding up the shelf. Here's our new painting counter. Before, all of our paints were kind of spored around. Now we've got a nice painting counter. We picked up the counter from a local thrift store, and then we used it to stock all of our paints. And we've also got heavier, more industrial paints over here for when we need to do a bigger project. And we've got all of our chemicals that we need to use for various chemical projects. Of course, our power saw. Photography was moved over to this area. As you can see, it's got a nice new photography station. These are a couple of miniatures for a promo project we just got in from Thomas Reedy, aka Goat Boy on the forums. We've been thinking about doing this neckwork project for a while. So that's just one of the many projects we're looking forward to doing this year. We finally have an air conditioner in here, so in the summer it won't be quite as hot. And the walls have been fully insulated now, so we are ready to rock when it gets cold. Our paint station, as you can see, it's set up. We do have an industrial air hood that I put some little caution tape on. We have not hooked up the venting system yet, so at the time being, although this works, it only vents into the room. So even though you can hear it going, you can see it going, unfortunately it only vents into the room. So for the time being, nothing much there. Here's a project from a client we're working on right now. This is a Storm Raven that we've been assembling for a client. Now we're finally starting to put some paint on it. And this is some more painting projects we've got going on. This is from our Help for Heroes project, which is a community terrain or community army build that we're doing for the Help for Heroes Veterans Foundation. Here's a towel project we've been working on and a refurbish on a tank for a friend of mine. Assembly has been moved over here, and we put all of our assembly bits on either side of assembly to keep them nice and conveniently located. So we've got lots of our bits, we've got projects that are in the middle of work, and we've got all of our bits boxes for some special bits that we use, as well as kits that we use and we hack and slash them for various projects. More shipping supplies. You will notice on the back wall over here that this station used to be over there. Now we've got a sink there that we're going to be using when we need to strip down minis or wash them. So everything is localized now. We tried to make it as efficient as possible and as effective as possible, so that way we can work faster, we can work harder, and we can work more effectively to get your projects to you faster. So this is the first look at our new studio. I'm really pleased with the way it came out. Of course, there's lots of things I'd like to improve upon. For example, well, not for example, but I'll show you this real quick. The floors, as you remember before, the floors were this nasty, dingy, disgusting color. We had them acid washed and etched, and then we had them stained. So these are nice and clean now. They've got kind of a marbleized look, which I really like quite a bit. But there's lots of plans for what we can do down the road. Oh, there's my cats. They say hi. He's always rubbing on stuff. Anyway, so that's it. It's a home-based studio, but we're a small company, but don't let that fool you. A small company means we can give you more personalized care. It means we can have a more transparent process. We walk you through it. You never feel abandoned during the project. You don't ship your models to us and then wait 6 weeks and then we email you with questions. We're with you every step of the way through the entire process from beginning to end. We talk to you through it. We send you update pics. We update pictures to our website, to our Facebook page, to our blog, to our YouTube, to our Twitter accounts. We let you know when things are going on. When we do have questions, you're the first person to know, not the last person to find out. And the entire process is being streamlined. We also are working with local artists now. We've picked up a couple local artists that are helping us out with some projects, so expect to see a variety of new projects coming out of the studio this year. Not just my work, but other artists' work. In the past, we've struggled to find artists that we've liked working with in the area. They either moved away or they're in college. But hopefully we're finding some older, more mature and seasoned artists now, people who will be able to provide us with good product for long periods of time. So there's no better time than there is right now to sign up with White Metal Games. Of course, we've got lots of discounts for you if you're a new person, if you're a returning person, if you are a previous client in our eBay store and now you're joining us through our website. That's great. We have discounts for that if you click on our special discounts tab on our website at whitemetalgames.com. We also have a podcast now called War Council, and there'll be a link for that in the show notes below this video as well. And War Council is a podcast about 40K, things 40K related, and things just wargaming related or in general. We talk about our projects, we talk about our commissions, we also talk about wargaming life and geek culture, things that are of interest to us. We're not really a podcast aimed at competitive gaming because we're not competitive players. I guess you might call us fluff players. We're passionate players. We have a love of the hobby and a love of the community, and we don't necessarily have a love of winning the game. I like to win, but I don't win often, and you can see that if you watch my battle reports. So I guess that's about it for now. So I hope you've enjoyed this first peek at our new studio, White Metal Games, for the coming year. And remember, put your minis where your mouth is.